Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, is a different type of video, right? So you're seeing some Elden Ring gameplay. I don't know if this is going to be from Elden Ring or Night Rain or whatever. It's not my gameplay. I'm going to link whoever it is. You know, I can't film on my PlayStation yet, but yeah. So Elden Ring is basically a From Software game, right? As you know, From Software are the developers behind the Dark Souls games, Sekiro, Bloodborne, and you know a few others, games that aren't Soulsborne esque, right? Obviously, it's also spawned many different, I don't want to say copycats, but different, subgenres of Souls-likes, right? You get, like, Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, Ashen, Mortal Shell. I mean, there's a bunch of them. I played a lot of them so far. They're all pretty good. I have played Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and beaten them. I beat Sekiro. I have not played Bloodborne yet. I'm said Borderlands, Bloodborne, but it is on my list. Currently, at the time of recording this, I'm about maybe, I don't know, an hour or so away from finishing Jedi Survivor, and then I'm going to work on Demon Souls. So there's a lot of, Souls games that are out there, right? Some good, some bad, some exceptional, right? And obviously the Souls games aren't for everyone. They are very difficult games, but they are fair, and I think that's what's really important. Elden Ring was my first Souls game I ever got. It was, obviously the first quote-unquote open world. The other ones pretty much are kind of open world too, but just not overly massive. But, I would say that Elden Ring is truly open world. And it's crazy. It's a beautiful video game. I mean, it's in my top 10. Hell, maybe it's even in my top 5. It's incredible. The open world, the graphics, the frame, at least where I play it, the frame rate is great. Everything, for the most part, is perfect. I mean, this is a 10 out of 10 game. I have over 150 hours in it, and I loved it. I have not played Shadow of the Erdtree yet. I plan on getting Night Rain. We'll see how that goes. But, Elden Ring for me is a big game, right? Like this game introduced me to the Soulsborne-esque genre, and it really did strike a note where I was like, oh wow, like, these are I get it now, right? I understand where people are coming from when they say they're so good, and it's so good, in fact, that apparently they're making an Elden Ring movie, and that's it's good or bad. So let's talk about it. So the Elden Ring film is in partnership with Bandai Namco, the publishers or whatever, as well as I believe it's Alex Garland. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that it's not Garfield the cat. I'm pretty sure it's not the cat. But we are getting it from A24, the publishing company, or whatever the hell they are, the distributor, whatever. A24, they're making it. And look, I think Elden Ring and the Souls game and, the whole Souls-esque genre as a whole, it is ripe with picking for film or TV show lore, right? Like, these games, and I know some people, and even myself, would say, oh, the stories aren't that great. And yeah, look, the stories for the Souls games, especially Dark Souls and Elden Ring, and the ones that I played, they're not bad. But, when I finished Elden Ring, I didn't really know what I was doing, like the actual story, right? Like, it was like, okay, cool, I'm a Tarnished, and I'm looking for the shards of the Elden Ring so I can become Elden Lord. Okay, cool. But then you get all this Miquella and Miquella and Melania and all these crazy characters and bosses and lore, and, obviously it's there, and it does make sense, right? They're not going to make lore that makes no effing sense, but you need to search for it, right? This is not Assassin's Creed or Borderlands or Batman or whatever, where the canon or the lore, the story is basically spelled out for you, right? This is a game where you have to understand the lore through playing it, through, reading logs or just, observing. And again, I got 100 freaking hours in this game, and I still don't know what the hell's going on half the time. That's not to say it's bad. I never found reason to actually explore it. And, if they go ahead and make this Elden Ring film, that's my first worry, right? Yes, it can probably look really good. It can probably have a captivating world and a captivating narrative, but will the narrative actually make sense? Will it be, too convoluted, too confusing for people that, A, haven't played Elden Ring or any of the Souls games or whatever, or B, have played them, like myself, and still don't fully understand what's going on? So, it's kind of a trap, right? Elden Ring is one of the most popular games of all time, one of the most successful, for a reason. It's a beautiful video game, right? Like, it is art. Every game is art, but this is truly art, right? Like, it transcends so much of what I thought about gaming, and it really, I can't even put it in words. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a good effing game. And, obviously I'm excited to see an Elden Ring film, but Obviously, we've been getting, good video game films, right? I mean, at least in my opinion, we've got Sonic Trilogy, Detective Pikachu, Assassin's Creed. Uncharted was fine. I didn't mind. I didn't hate Borderlands. I know everyone else did. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was great, but it's not a dumpster fire. I think that, what else? Minecraft movie. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I thought it was good. You can check out my review or whatever. I thought it was a fine film. But at the same time, you're looking at it, you're like, all right, cool. But the Minecraft movie also had a lot of memes and a lot of stuff. And obviously, you see by my thumbnail and the shit that's going on Twitter right now, you're getting Jack Black in his armor and he's going, instead of saying chicken jockey, saying Godskin duo or, whatever. You know what I mean? So it could easily fall into that trap of, we're trying to appeal to a broader demographic. Let's make it PG-13. Let's make it funny, right? Let's make it a comedy. Let's make it an action comedy or an action. So I think that if they really want to make an Elden Ring film, they need to embrace the R-rated gore. And Elden Ring isn't even that gory. It's a very, very tame M-rated game. Every single FromSoft game is. Even the Soulsborne games and the Souls-likes, they're all pretty tame for the most part. There isn't one that's like super gory or, oh my god, wow, this is extremely brutal, you know what I mean? So it can work, but it's got to be R-rated, it's got to be dark, it's got to be slow-paced. If they're making an action film and there's tons of comedy everywhere and it feels like Guardians of the Galaxy and Borderlands and Minecraft and, whatever, it won't work as much. And I think that, they're really on a slippery slope here, because let's be honest, Borderlands movie, I didn't hate it, but everyone else did, okay? And it kind of shat on the reputation of Borderlands, right? I love Borderlands. I love these games. I haven't played them all, but the ones I have played, I effing love. Like, they're incredible shooter, open-world, looter-shooter games, right? Like, they're amazing. So, yeah, when the movie dropped and no one liked it, apart from my mom and myself, it was like, that's not good. You know what I mean? So, like, what do we do now? And then, of course, Randy Pitchford's like, Borderlands 4. Pre-order now. It's like, okay, cool. I am, by the way, Randy. I'm just saying, you're weird, but I'm pre-ordering your game. I'm buying Borderlands 4 in September, right? Like, I'm getting it. It looks great, but that movie did poo-poo on its reputation to a degree, right? When people think of Borderlands for a little bit, it wasn't, oh my god, wow, Borderlands 2 is great. Oh my god, Borderlands 3 has some really great gameplay. Oh, don't forget about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. It was no. Oh my god, that movie's horrible and it's the worst thing ever and the casting's bad and the CGI's bad and the writing's bad and the acting's bad and blah, blah. And I was like, alright, that's not, again, a very positive thing. People thought, when you say Borderlands, they did not think of the games, they thought of the horrible film that no one liked. So I don't want that reputation to go to Elden Ring and Dark Souls, right? Like, these are masterclass games. You probably won't believe me unless you play them or really sink time and effort into them. But they are masterpieces of gaming. And for them to make a movie or a really bad movie, that I fear could shake the FromSoft reputation, right? Like, when people think of From Software, they think of quality. Just like they do with Nintendo for the most part, and Rockstar, stuff like that, right? So I think if they really do make a bad film, it can easily shine through. Because, again, let's be honest, Elden Ring is stupid popular, right? Like it got me into the Souls games. I was always not really afraid, but I didn't really want to give my, time and effort to the Dark Souls trilogy or Sekiro or Bloodborne or whatever, because I was like, oh, well, I hear that they're really hard, and, I really just play Call of Duty and Lego and Assassin's Creed and shit, like, I don't really have I don't think I'll be able to do it. It's just too difficult, And then I got Elden Ring because I heard it was open world, and it was getting great reviews. I was like, okay, cool, this looks fun. And then, I died a lot to Margit or whatever, but then, eventually I killed him, and then eventually I killed the next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy, and then eventually I beat the final boss, and I was like, oh, I did it, look at that. And then I had, 99,000 more things to do. But I loved it, right? I mean, it taught me, A, that I can love this genre in this style of gaming, and B, they're really not as hard as what I was told on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be Jesus to beat these games. You know what I mean? You can be a guy that just plays Lego games all the time, or SpongeBob, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you can do it. Anyone can. You just have to think it through, take your time, have patience, formulate a strategy, and go slow and have fun. Like, that's really it. I mean, death is going to be happening a lot for you if you get these games, but I think, if anything, the Elden Ring film, if it's good, will get a lot more people to not only buy Elden Ring, or, Shadow of the Erd Tree, or Night Rain, or whatever, but also really kind of, start to go back and play Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, and Sekiro, and Bloodborne, and Demon Souls, or whatever. I think a lot of people played Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, which are, again, incredible games, some of the best Star Wars gaming ever, but, they are Souls-likes, like, straight up, like, they are. If you played a Souls game, the Jedi games are literally just Dark Souls but Star Wars. That's all it is. Maybe a little easier because you can twist your difficulty or whatever, but that's basically what it is. It's got, Dark Souls-esque dodging, Sekiro parry. Again, there's a few things that are a little bit easier and made more casual because Star Wars is a more broad thing than, Dark Souls, but at the same time, the influence is very much there. And people got into that. I played Fallen Order before I played Elden Ring, obviously, right, because I like Star Wars, and if you can tell. And, I got into that, and I was like, oh, cool, this is great, and then, obviously, I got Elden Ring, and I started loving this franchise. So, my advice for you, if you really want to get into this franchise, I would genuinely I started with Elden Ring. Elden Ring can be the easiest and the hardest if you make it. With Dark Souls, if you're killing a boss, you just can't kill this effing boss or whatever. You can't kill this enemy. Can't get past a certain area. There might be one or two little nooks and crannies you can go into, but for the most part, you got to kill this boss. You got to find a cheese or a strat or whatever you got to do to kill the next boss. With Elden Ring, if you can't kill Margit, the first main boss of the game, just piss off and go wherever the fudge you want. Go anywhere and find a secret weapon or rune farm or whatever you got to do to kill him. And that's, a beautiful feeling. Like, nothing, I was telling my mom and my dad, I'm like, and then I told my friend, and he didn't believe me, but then he played it, and he believed me. Nothing's better than killing a Dark Souls or an Elden Ring, or, any kind of Souls-like boss. It genuinely, it's like crack. You know what I mean? I would never do drugs. I don't tell, I'm not telling you to do them. I will never do them. It's just a joke. But it's like that, people do drugs in movies. They feel like, incredible. It's like that, but without horrible consequences. You know what I mean? Unless you, crash out and you, break your console or something. But I think for the most part, when you kill a boss in these games, it genuinely feels good because you earned that. And you worked hard for it. It's not just like, oh, I hit 2 buttons and I killed them. No, you really got to work for this stuff. And I think if they make this movie good, it'll draw more people into the games, and they'll just get more popular. Because again, I was one of you guys. If you're listening and you're, like me, I was like, oh, they're too hard. I can't do it. All I hear from the internet is how difficult and challenging and horribly hard they are, and prepare to die. You're gonna die. It's gonna suck. And then I bought them, and I played them, and I beat them. And I'm like, oh, I can do it. I'm not that bad. Either I'm really good, or what, I don't know what it is, but I beat them. So, once I finish Jedi Survivor, hopefully in a little bit here, I'll be working on Demon Souls, and then I will be getting Elden Ring Night Rain, I hope, when it comes out on the 30th, and, hopefully if it is good, I'll make a review on that. But yeah, man, I am genuinely just ecstatic over the Souls genre and the Souls likes and the Soulsborne, all of them, man. All of them I played have been really, really great. Lords of the Fallen 2014 was pretty bad, but Lords of the Fallen, the new one, is incredible now. It's genuinely a masterpiece now, with all the updates. It's incredible, so if you haven't played that, get that one. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this Elden Ring film. I think more video game movies and shows and all that can be good, but I also am nervous because if this is a train wreck, or if they market it bad, or if it just doesn't tonally feel like Elden Ring or Dark Souls, it can easily slip into that trap of, oh man, this is just a waste of time. And when people think of the Elden Ring film, they're going to think that of how horrible it is and how it tears down the games, and I don't want that. I don't think you want that. Obviously we want this film to be good and bolster the sales of the games and make me want to replay Elden Ring. That's the goal, right? That's why they're making this film, because the director loves the game and the franchise and the world that Miyazaki created. And if they make a horrible product, then, what's the point? So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the Elden Ring film. Are you worried it's going to be more of an action comedy like Borderlands, or it's going to be silly like Minecraft, or if it's just going to be overtly serious and it just won't make any sense? I don't know. There's a lot that can go wrong with this. But I think if they take their time and they actually care about the lore and the franchise, they'll obviously make it as best they can. But yeah, like I said, man, coming from a person who was too scared or too, apprehensive to play these games, and now I've beaten a lot of them so far, and I'm just on the Souls train. I'm going to do them all if I can. I love this franchise. I love Elden Ring. It's genuinely one of the best games of all time. It is not like, it's overhyped. No, if you've played this game, you probably will agree it's a complete masterpiece. I 100% recommend it to anyone. It is difficult, but it's also fair. It's not too challenging where you're going to give up. You just need to have patience and try your best. This is not a casual game, but it's also not a game that's too hard where no one can get into it. You know what I mean? So I think that, the Souls games have this, overtly hard reputation of being just too challenging, and you should never play it because you're just going to die all the time and you're going to be so mad. But again, like I said, I mainly played Call of Duty and Lego and Star Wars and GTA and Assassin's Creed and, more quote-unquote casual style games. And then I got into this and I did it. Little by little, I did them. And I'm just, I'm just going to keep going with them. So yeah, I think that if you're apprehensive, please give them a look out. You know what I mean? I think you really like them. But I'm excited to hear your thoughts on this film. Again, I'm excited for it. I'm a little nervous, though, because this can go wrong in a lot of ways. But if they do it right, again, it's just going to make this game and just the Souls games in general a heck of a lot more better to actually, really play again or get into, right? Like, it should, at the end of the day, make you want to play these games and just enjoy more of this amazing world. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Please effing heal. What are you doing, brother? I got him! Let's go. Oh my god.